Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over a decision that a lot of people are going to make over the next few months, buying a next-gen console versus buying a PC. Ever since the next-gen consoles were announced a few months ago, there have been plenty of vocal people on both sides of the debate. I'm sure you've all heard some of the PC guys say that if you buy a console, you're stupid because PCs are so much better, but then the console guys would counter with some of the negatives of owning a PC. As someone who has both, I can tell you that there really is no simple answer here. It's honestly lazy analysis to just say, oh, PCs are more powerful than consoles, therefore they're the better option for everyone. So I know a lot of you guys are probably struggling with this very decision, especially with it being the holidays, so there's probably a lot of deals going on and such. So the purpose of this video is to break down the positives and negatives of both platforms, and even though using them for playing Fortnite will be emphasized a bit in here, it's definitely not going to be the only factor we look at. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing that we have to talk about here is cost in regards to performance. This is something that I think really gets lost in the debate, especially from the PC side. I almost find it comical when someone like Dr. Disrespect, for example, he comes out and kind of talks about how anyone who plays on a non-super PC is just stupid, basically. I think he's probably just looking for attention partially, but it's easy to say that when he's a guy probably making millions of dollars a year. For the average person, though, cost may legitimately be the #1 factor when it comes to making this decision. So obviously this is going to be an area that next-gen consoles really crush it. I've said it before, but I'm just so impressed with how Sony and Xbox especially kept the price of these next-gen consoles so low compared to expectations. The Series X and PS5 retail at $500, which is actually the same price as what the PS4 and Xbox One initially went for. And then the real sleeper option is the Series S and the digital PS5, and those only retail at $300 and $400 respectively. Now, of course, if you're really impatient and unlucky when going for retail drops, you may have to pay a markup on the secondary market, but honestly, I could not advise against that any stronger. You're already starting to see retail releases becoming more and more frequent. Sony and Microsoft have clearly upped production recently, and my guess is that within another 2 to 3 months or so, pretty much everybody who wants a next-gen console will be able to get one at retail prices. With PC, on the other hand, the initial cost of the system, even to just match the specs of a next-gen console, is going to be higher. Now, of course, there are way more variables when it comes to cost with PC. Do you know how to build one, or are you buying pre-built? Are you settling for a lower-end model or looking for a higher-end one? Are you waiting for sales on certain parts to upgrade? You can see how it's just a lot less straightforward than going out and buying a console. However, based on the smarter people I've talked to who really understand this stuff, to build your own PC that has noticeably better specs than a next-gen console, it would probably cost you around $750 to $800 at least if you're building it yourself, and if you're buying pre-built, it would be more like $1,000 to $1,200. If you're just trying to match what a Series X or PS5 does, then maybe it would be closer to $600 or $700 to build it yourself, and maybe $800 or $900 pre-built. And I just want to clarify that when I say noticeably better specs than consoles, that does not mean you're getting a high-end PC by any stretch of the imagination. Just to put it in terms of Fortnite, since most of you will probably understand that, my guess is that PCs around the $1,000 mark would probably hover around 150 to 180 FPS roughly. Just to give you a personal example here of what higher end really is, the PC that I have, I definitely would consider higher end. I almost never drop below like 240 FPS in game. That cost me about $3,000 when I bought it 2 years ago. So just due to technological advancements, it would be at least a little bit cheaper now, but you can see how higher end PCs are great in theory, but the price tags on them ramp up very, very quickly. Also, it's worth noting that PC also has a few more hidden costs as well. You're going to need a desk for your PC, you're going to need a keyboard and mouse for typing and navigating stuff, obviously. You need to buy an extra cable if you want to play controller, and if your PC gets over like 150 FPS FPS, which it ideally would, you'd probably need a higher quality monitor, most likely 240Hz. Those secondary costs definitely add up rather quickly, and it's something that a lot of people don't even really consider when they're thinking about buying a PC. So of course, the performance potential of PC is a huge advantage over the next-gen consoles, but you need to understand that to reach that performance advantage, the cost is going to be significant. Another really important aspect of the PC versus console debate is the amount of games available, and also the uses outside of gaming as well. Over time, I think when it comes to the variety of games available, PC has vastly overtaken console. You guys may not remember this, but even just 3 or 4 years ago, there used to be a lot of games that were either console only, or console was the clearly preferred platform, so nobody really played on PC even if the game was on it. But over time, most games at this point have become cross-platform, and really the only major exception I can think of off the top of my head are sports games, and that's really the one type of game that console still has exclusively. Obviously, you can play on PC, but the games aren't cross-platform like I said, so it's a pretty miserable experience as a whole. But there are just so many more games now that are either PC exclusive or come to PC first and then maybe console at a later date. I mean, just think about all the main games that have become super hyped over the last 6 months or so. Valorant, Fall Guys, Among Us, all of those games were designed for PC and have yet to even make their way onto console. Plus, PCs also have a significant non-gaming utility over console as well. You can use a PC to surf the internet, watch streams, edit pictures or videos, whatever. Console's gotten a little bit better in this aspect. You can definitely do some of the things I just mentioned, but the experience is obviously going to be a lot better on an actual computer. And then the final factor that I think people leave out of the console versus PC debate is the ability to upgrade a PC over time. Even though there'll be slightly more advanced versions of these next-gen consoles released over the next few years, the differences as a whole will definitely be minor. For example, just think of the Xbox One versus Xbox One X or PS4 versus PS4 Pro. But with a PC on the other hand, you can upgrade certain individual parts as time goes on and technology continues to evolve, and those upgrades have the potential to make a major difference depending on how much you spend. It's not like you can buy a new graphics card or processor for your console. The next time we're going to see a major upgrade will be 5 to 7 years in the future when we get the PS6 and Xbox whatever. So much like it usually is with these debates, there really isn't a clear-cut right answer. It depends on your situation and what you're mainly looking for. If you don't have a ton of money saved up and you're only looking for something to play games like Fortnite, COD, and 2K or FIFA, then I think a console would definitely be your best bet. But if you're really serious about gaming, you have the money, and maybe you have other important uses for a PC as well, then that would probably be better for you than a console. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. What do you guys think about the PC versus next-gen console debate, and which are you going to choose? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.